Hi guys, I am super excited to do another video for you. So today is our first celebrity biography video. Oh my god. And today we're going to be talking about Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres. So if you do not know who Ellen DeGeneres is, she is a comedian and talk show host that had started her daytime talk show back in 2003. 21 years ago. I know that is a long time, huh? and Ellen, and I've seen videos that Ellen was rude, she was mean, and she was the most meanest people alive. Even her show motto said, "Be kind to one another." People said that she was a hypocrite and she was rude and mean, and she was notoriously one of the most meanest people alive. So today we're going to be talking about Ellen. This whole video is about Ellen. So Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres. We're going to need a special tool for us, my magical computer. So Ellen DeGeneres. Here's the life story of Ellen DeGeneres. So Ellen DeGeneres was born Ellen Lee DeGeneres on January 26, 1958. Ellen was born 58. That means she's 66 years old. She doesn't even look that old. So, Ellen, she was she was she's so Ellen DeGeneres, the lesbian lady that has a talk show host. We're going to use our magical computer for this, so let's turn this baby on. Come on, work. Now it wants to work because I told it to work. So, let's talk about Ellen's life story before we get any electronical. So Ellen DeGeneres was born January 26, 1958 in Louisiana, and she was 13 when her parents separated, and Ellen used to make jokes for her mom when her and her dad separated. And her mom met uh met Ellen's stepdad, Roy Grusenfor, and Roy Grusenfor abused Ellen when she was 16 to 15 years old. He would abuse Ellen and molest her and beat her up, and she would hide this nightmare from her mother, Betty DeGeneres. Ellen was born to Betty DeGeneres and Elliot DeGeneres on 1958. And Ellen, has a tragic life and she has been through a lot. And there's no historian trying to deny that Ellen is gay. So we're going to type all this in. So, God. And when her Ellen lived with her biological father after Roy abused her. And in a little bit. This is Ellen losing her girlfriend was one of the most hardest losses ever in Ellen's life. And yeah, we're going to watch this. These acts. Let's watch it together. I can't. Okay, I can't get this. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd never lost anybody. I mean, my grandfather died when I was a little girl, but I didn't really know him. I wasn't close, so I didn't really, and I didn't go to the funeral. But my girlfriend had been killed in a car accident, and we were living together at the time. My brother's band was performing, and we had broken up. We fought a lot. She was trying to get me to come back home. I acted like I couldn't hear her because the music was too loud. I was planning on moving back in. I just was trying to teach her a lesson, and I was staying with some friends. So I just acted like I couldn't hear, and I was being really just dismissive of her.
Be grateful for what you have.
And as we were driving home, we saw a car, and it was split in two. And
oh my God.
We heard sirens behind us, so it had just happened. Nobody was there yet, and we just kept going. And I found out the next morning that it was her in the car. And so that, of course made me feel like I should have gone home with her that night. She wouldn't have been with that person. I should have stopped. Maybe she would have, all kinds of things. But a lot of guilt. I think it made me realize how fragile and how easily you can lose somebody. I mean, just literally in an instant, she just was gone.
Okay, this video made me want to tear up.
It was really hard, but it really did. It shifted my entire focus in my life. I lived in this tiny basement apartment where you couldn't even stand up fully. It was the ceilings were so low, it was like you couldn't stand up. And I had a mattress on the floor, and the basement was infested with fleas. There were just fleas everywhere. And I remember thinking, it just seems so ridiculous that this young 23-year-old girl who, I was just living with was gone, and fleas are here.
It is.
So I just thought
it is ridiculous.
It would be great to just pick up the phone and call up God and talk about this. And so I just picked up a pen, and there were no scratch out, start over. It just was written. The whole thing came out, the whole conversation, the whole phone call. And when I finished writing, I just thought Johnny Carson would love that. I know he would appreciate that, and I'm going to do that on the show.
Okay. I know it's very heartbreaking that Ellen lost her girlfriend, and yeah, it will be sad to me if someone that I love was gone. Yeah. So let's talk about Ellen's romance. We're done talking about Ellen's early life. Now let's talk about her romance. Oh my God. So Ellen's first lover was Kat Perkoff. They met in the when they were in their early 20s. They fell in love. They moved in together. And that was it. Now let's talk about Ellen's second lover, Alexa Hedison. Ellen and Alexandra dated in 1997 after Ellen and Anne split up. And no. They did in 2001, and then they broke up in 2004. And Portia de Rossi, Ellen's current partner, De Rossi is just so beautiful. Ellen's current partner, Portia de Rossi, and Ellen were together since 2004, and now they were married since 2008, and it's been 16 years since their marriage. Congratulations, Ellen! Yay! Now let's talk about Ellen's career. So Ellen tried to have a show after her appearance on the John Carson show. She had tried to. She had had a sitcom called Ellen, but it got canceled in like 2 to 3 years later. And she had a second show that was like that ended a year later in 2002. And then her talk show, the one that we know now, the Ellen Degeneres show. So the Ellen Degeneres show started in 2003 and it became so popular and mainstream. The producers couldn't cancel it. And we're going to watch some videos that says Ellen is a toxic person. So there have been workers that spoke out that Ellen was mean. She was the most meanest people alive, and she was rude, and she was a hypocrite, and she fired most of her workers. So I was like, that's not true. They're lying, because I thought Ellen was the most nicest people alive, and Ellen can't be mean. But we're gonna watch videos on my magical computer. If I would just get this thing to work. Finally, now it wants to work. Why? Sometimes I don't like this computer. It just doesn't work. Just doesn't like me. Ah! Oh, it's 0%. Let's put the in. Come on. Okay, let's wait to upload. It just takes a long time, but when it's done uploading, I will pause the video. So, wait for me, guys. Have faith for me. Have faith for me. Hello, guys. We are back, and it has just started. And sorry. So we're gonna watch another video about Ellen's work environment. So, yeah. So we're going to talk about LGBTQ plus issues and how it revolves around Ellen. So we're going to talk about Ellen's iconic moments. So Ellen was already gay before she came out, and Ellen had her show called Ellen, where Laura was her partner, and she talked to Oprah about it, and there was an episode where she talked to Oprah about it, and Ellen agreed to that. And Ellen publicly became gay in 1997. And we We all know that Ellen's usual look, her signature look, is a suit. And we have never seen her wearing a dress until before her talk show. Yeah, and Ellen said that in an interview she has never been comfortable wearing dresses or having long hair and having anything that's associated as feminine or girly. So she doesn't like pink or glitter or anything like that. And she just wants to be masculine. So, I saw an article and I saw a video that said there is no coming out iconic as Ellen Degeneres. And my computer is still uploading, so I can do that. And we're gonna get into Ellen's talk show and how she's treat people and who is Ellen DeGeneres behind the scenes. Don't worry. We'll get to that. And I saw something that Ellen used to make fun of Sofia Vergara's accent. Ellen, what are you? You're supposed to be a nice person. That's probably why they canceled you. Okay, it's starting. Ooh. So we're gonna watch some videos about Ellen mistreating her staff and said that Ellen is a hypocrite and she was rude, she was mean, and she was rude. And when I was younger and my mom would watch Ellen, I always said, is that a man or a woman? I always thought that Ellen was a man. I always thought that she was male. And I never thought that she was female. I never thought she was a woman disguised in men's clothes. I thought she was just a man. So we're gonna watch about Ellen mistreating her staff. We'll get to there. It's just that these computers are something else and they don't work. Modern computers like these don't work that good. Good, trust me. If you want a computer like this, I'm telling you, you should not buy it. Well, if you want to buy it, that's for sure. Come on, computer, work! Finally, now it wants to work. Just give it some time because I have no patience when it comes to things like this. I'm very impatient. So, we all know makeup guru and beauty influencer Nikki Tutorials. She has spoke about Ellen, and she is not the only one who has problems with Ellen. She said that Ellen was rude, she was mean, and she didn't even shake her hand. Many celebrities have uncomfortableness with Ellen. we're gonna watch a video by Inside Edition that Ellen addresses toxic workplace allegations. So we're going to accept. Okay, we're gonna put this baby right here.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Welcome to season 18 of the Ellen Degeneres show. A new chapter. That's what Ellen promised today as she returned to her studio and spoke out for the first time about the controversy swirling around her. This summer, there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. She apologized and promised to do better. The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that. I am a work in progress, and if I've ever let someone down, if I've ever hurt their feelings, I am so sorry for that. But one former Ellen producer isn't buying it. Hedda Muscat worked on The Ellen Show back in 2003.
Phony, liar, hypocrite. That's my reaction. She's known about this for 17 years. She's created.
People have give Ellen a lot of criticism. There was a DJ before Twitch that he worked for Ellen for 17 years, and he said Ellen was so rude to him, and she had said rude things to people. And in 2008, she invited Mariah Carey on her show, and Mariah and Ellen talked about rumors about Mariah getting pregnant, and Ellen manipulated Mariah Carey and forced her to drink champagne, and Mariah Carey said that was uncomfortable. She didn't like it, and we don't need to drink champagne if we're not comfortable with it. And Ellen really needs to be stopped. And Ellen, the reason why I'm speaking about this now is because Ellen is 2024's villain, and Ellen is going to be stopping being Hollywood. That's why we're talking about this right now. And most people, like celebrities, most celebrities have speak about their mistreatment and of Ellen, how Ellen was rude to them, how workers speak about how Ellen was rude to them. And Ellen, I saw a tweet where Ellen has a sensitive nose, so you must chew gum in her office before meeting with her, and if she thinks you smell that day, you have to go home and take a shower. Like people say Ellen behind the scenes is a rude, mean, cruel person, and that Ellen, that she needs to be stopped, and she makes celebrities feel uncomfortable and all that, and that's what Ellen is, and said that Ellen is a hypocrite, Ellen is a liar, she's rude, she's mean, she makes people feel uncomfortable, and yeah. And I saw where Ellen had photos of people, of her guests, old photos of their guests, so the people who were taken of those photos will get made fun of. So Ellen had an episode where she had old pictures of people's photos, and the people have to come up, and the people get made fun of for having those photos. Ellen, she is not nice as you've seen, and she is a less kind person that in her career than to make you believe, huh? Let's watch this.
In this culture, I was there from day one. We were all petrified of her. She was not nice.
We've learned that after 14 weeks of hiatus, Ellen returned to her studio here at Warner Brothers last week and pre-taped her eagerly awaited season premiere. Like most talk shows during the pandemic, there was no live studio audience allowed inside. Ellen's virtual audience reacted positively to her apology. Elizabeth Wagmeister is a senior correspondent with Variety.
It really seemed like an effective PR spin. It was perfectly done, but I think that that's exactly what Ellen needed to do. It's very clear that Ellen wanted this to be perfect. Her and her producers and her writers, they clearly spent a lot of time and put a lot of thought into this. They want to do this and they want to move on and move forward and probably never talk about the allegations again.
As for her Be Kind reputation
Yeah.
so much damage this summer, she had this to say.
Being known as the Be Kind Lady is a tricky position to be in. So let me give you some advice out there. If anybody's thinking of changing their title or giving yourself a nickname, do not go with the Be Kind Lady. Don't do it.
Yeah, so Ellen has received a lot of criticism, and Ellen has received a lot of hate from her staff, her celebrities, and people say that meeting Ellen and Ellen making fun of people is humiliating. And we're gonna watch an Anna Oop. You know I love Anna Oop. It says here that Nikki Tutorials said that Ellen was rude. And Nikki Tutorials, she is one of my favorite. She is my favorite makeup artist. And I love her so much. And Ellen, and she came all the way to Los Angeles to meet Ellen to talk about her being transgender. When Nikki Tutorials has come out as transgender, she went on the Ellen show to talk about it. And this is why people, celebrities, Nikki Tutorials, and the internet hate Ellen. They say that she is disgusting, a hypocrite, a liar, and she is not nice. She is a really bad person. It says that she is a groomer and she is so rude. So we're gonna watch this Anna Oop video. I love you, Anna Oop.
Are you ready to take your content to the next level? Going live on TikTok isn't just fun, it's a game changer. Imagine reaching millions daily.
Who would have known that the kindest person on earth is actually me? Hey,
Yes.
your girl is back.
Ellen is the kindest person on earth, but in reality, she's mean. She's rude. She is rah. She is so rude. And Ellen makes you believe that she is nice. And she is a less kind person that makes her career make you believe that wants her career to be kind, that makes you believe. And if you're interested in this video, like this video and subscribe. Thank you, my loves.
Today we're going to talk about Nikki Tutorials and the internet calling out Ellen Degeneres.
Yeah.
Most of y'all probably know Ellen Degeneres as the kind and sweet interviewer. But, well, it turns out there is a dark side to it.
Yeah.
So recently there have been people more than ever who have spoken up about Ellen having a rude personality. Tons of videos have also been made about Ellen making her guests feel uncomfortable on her show. And, well, none other than your favorite beauty guru, Nikki Tutorials, has now decided to speak up herself about her experience with Ellen. So, as most of you know, Nikki got invited to Ellen last month after she came out as transgender on her channel in January.
When I was younger, I was born in the wrong body, which means that I am transgender.
Honestly, the interview wasn't really bad because they both seemed to get along
Yeah,
well.
they did.
Wow, so nice to meet you.
Oh my god, it's an honor. Can you pinch me, please?
Yes, I can.
Oh god, it hurts. It's real.
Until a few weeks later, Nikki got asked about her experience meeting Ellen for the first time. This is what she had to say about her.
Hoe was het bij Ellen Degeneres?
Ik zeg dat er een groot verschil is tussen de wereld draait door en Ellen. En dan geef ik jullie het positieve handvat. Punt.
Nou.
Maar dat wil ik meer weten.
Nou ja, er zijn bepaalde... Kijk, bijvoorbeeld, het is wel heel leuk dat jij me overal hallo kunt zeggen. Zo. Het is bij Ellen in ieder geval, het is wat ik heb meegemaakt hier en andere landen, is dat gewoon een hele andere wereld. Het zit gewoon iets anders.
Afstandelijke killer.
Het is wel echt dat ik zo'n podium mocht betreden, is natuurlijk de grootste eer. Laat ik dat voorop stellen. Maar het is wel een andere wereld. Eurovisie.
Apparently, Nikki didn't get to meet Ellen backstage before the interview.
Yeah.
She also described Ellen as cold and distant. She didn't even say hi or shake her hand before or after the show. And y'all, it seems like this is not the first time Ellen has treated her guests poorly and based on their popularity status. For example, as for Nikki, she's a beauty guru who does makeup videos on YouTube, while Ariana Grande, she's a celebrity who is known worldwide. I mean, it does explain a lot. Speaking of Ellen being rude, there have been multiple people coming out on Twitter talking about their same experiences with Ellen. My sister worked for the Ellen Show for 2 years. This is from her. I saw Ellen in the hallways every day and she would say hello, and she never once said hello back. She wouldn't even smile. She wouldn't even acknowledge me at all. Many also spoke up about the fact that Ellen is also rude in public, with one user mentioning how Ellen almost got her fired from her job.
For years, I worked at an organic vegan macrobiotic restaurant serving people until I was released after a really popular talk show host emailed the owner and complained about my chipped nail polish. True story. Not in her food, but on my hands.
Anyways, what do you guys think of Ellen? Do you really think she is as rude as people describe her to be? Let me...
Okay, so, Ellen is a very imperfect LGBTQ plus icon, and that's why that's why she's leaving Hollywood, because she doesn't want to get criticized anymore, and she doesn't want to get any calling out from the internet and call out from celebrities like Nikki Tutorials and all that. We're gonna be watching more. We're gonna watch Ellen DeGeneres and Mariah Carey. We're gonna be watching how Ellen forced Mariah to drink champagne. It seemed like Ellen and Nikki got along. I don't know why Nikki is saying that Ellen's rude, but it's probably behind the scenes, not on camera, but behind the scenes.
Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, oh my goodness. I can't believe it.
Mariah Carey is opening up about this uncomfortable 2008 appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Why did we post that? How about to the future?
future.
You can
And for both of our futures, who knows what they hold.
Who knows? All right, go ahead.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
The clip of Ellen trying to pressure the singer into drinking
It's peer
champagne
pressure.
as a way to offset pregnancy rumors recently resurfaced on Twitter, following allegations of a toxic workplace environment on the show.
People are saying that that you're pregnant. There's rumors.
Don't discuss that.
All right. Well, you don't have to.
No, that's okay. No, honestly,
You don't have to answer me. Let's just toast with champagne.
Now, in an interview with Vulture, Mariah is addressing that extremely uncomfortable moment with Degeneres, telling the mag that she's really had a, quote, hard time grappling with the aftermath.
I can have some champagne. It's just fattening. So,
You can have champagne?
That's not champagne because you can't.
No, it is.
The singer, who married then-husband Nick Cannon about 6 months prior to her sit-down with Ellen, did everything she could to dodge the TV personality's persistence.
You want to taste it?
I can't believe you did this to me, Ellen.
What? No,
Are you trying
I'm not
to-
going to ask you if you're pregnant or
This
not.
is
I'm just
peer
gonna
pressure.
say.
You see what Ellen is doing? This is peer pressure. I was like, why does she keep talking about champagne?
At one point, Mariah even claimed it was too early to drink, just before appearing to take a small sip.
Go ahead.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
It's too early for me. I only drink it after 3 p.m.
Yeah. You're pregnant. You're pregnant. You are pregnant.
No. My mother would be at home on the computer like, what are you talking about? No, we will let you know when we're going to have
No, you won't.
Here's the thing, the 50-year-old legend, who has appeared on the show 5 times since, actually was pregnant at the time. But she tells Vulture that she wasn't ready to announce the news because she'd previously suffered a miscarriage.
I can't say what's next or what's not next for me. So many things are happening.
Of the interview, Mariah stresses that she doesn't want to throw anyone that's already being thrown under the proverbial bus, but she says she didn't enjoy that moment, adding that there's an empathy that can be applied to those moments that I would have liked to have been implemented.
I'm trying to tone it down.
Carrie ended up suffering another miscarriage shortly after her 2008 Ellen interview, but went on to what...
Okay, so, it wasn't acceptable that Ellen peer pressured Mariah to, drink champagne, because if Mariah Carey doesn't want to drink champagne, then you don't have to let her drink champagne. Now we're gonna watch more videos about Ellen being rude, and about Ellen having so it says here that Ellen's nicest person ever, but that's a lie. People said it is. Mean. And I saw that Ellen pulled Kylie Jenner's hair and called her dumb after. Ellen, seriously. We're gonna watch The Dark Truth About Ellen Degeneres.
I always thought my daughter would make her own medical decisions and have the same freedoms I have. But Dave McCormick is fully against abortion, even in cases of rape or incest. It's outrageous. Dave McCormick is dangerous for us.
Not gonna talk about
Want to
that.
make a change in your child's education?
What is that?
Choose a better option to choose certified teachers.
Ellen is far more sinister Ellen Degeneres is not who you think she is.
Ooh.
On the outside, she appears to be a kind woman whose only goal is to spread love.
So Ellen, on the outside, she is very nice. She's the nicest people on the talk show, on talk show history, and her goal is to spread kindness to people. But on the inside, she's mean, she's rude, she's toxic, and she's a hypocrite.
Positivity, but the reality is very different. For years, she maintained the image of the benevolent talk show host that could do no wrong, and viewers of the Ellen Show had little reason to think anything else. Almost everything she did showed her to be a genuine and caring person. She constantly gave out gifts to her guests, made donations to charity, and preached about the importance of kindness. Even the mantra for her show was be kind to one another. But in 2020, amid emerging reports of a toxic workplace culture, more and more people started coming forward about their horrible experiences with Ellen. From Mariah Carey being manipulated by Ellen to reveal her pregnancy before she was ready, to her heartless treatment of the rising kid star Grayson Trance, there are countless stories that show Ellen is far more sinister than she seems. After 19 years on air, the Ellen Show has finally come to an end. But just how bad were the things that went on behind the scenes, and what type of person is Ellen when the cameras
aren't rolling? When the cameras are rolling, she's rude.
Tweeted that Ellen is one of the meanest people alive, before asking people to respond to his tweets with the most insane stories they've heard about her being mean. For each story submitted, he said he'd donate $2 to the LA Food Bank. The tweets got thousands of replies, many of which were quite disturbing. A TV writer called Benjamin Seaman shared a few stories he'd heard. She has a sensitive nose, so everyone must chew gum from a bowl outside her office before talking to her, and if she thinks you smell that day, you have to go home and shower. A new staff member was told every day she picks someone different to really hate. It's not your fault, just suck it up for the day and she'll be mean to someone else the next day. They didn't believe it, but it ended up being entirely true. When she's in a bad mood, staff members were highly encouraged by upper management to go into her office and do bits to cheer her up. Of course, there was no way to tell whether the stories were really true or not, but judging by the sheer number of people saying very similar things, this really didn't look good for Ellen. Her problems got worse after the pandemic sent the nation into lockdown. A news report from Variety revealed that Ellen's crew members received no communication about the status of their working hours or pay for over a month. Ellen hired an external tech company to begin shooting the show out of her California mansion, leaving her employees completely in the dark about their situation. When producers finally weighed in, they told crew members they'd be getting a 60% reduction in pay despite the show continuing to air. This looked even worse because other talk show hosts like Jimmy Kimmel paid their workers in full out of their own pockets. Threads started popping up on Reddit saying Ellen was never a nice person and all of this is nothing new. People were sharing uncomfortable interviews of hers from the past. There was an old interview with Taylor Swift where Ellen kept prying into her love life to the point that she almost broke down.
Ring it on 3 different guys. We'll narrow it down. You're supposed to ring
But
one.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
I'll hold it for you. All right.
There was also the awkward interview with Celine Dion in which Ellen kept asking when she was going to cut her son's hair.
All right, well, it seems like you're busy with something because you're forgetting to cut your son's hair. Look at him. He is beautiful, but look at his hair. When are you going to cut that hair?
And then there was a time she tried making Mariah Carey drink alcohol to expose whether or not she was pregnant.
Let's toast to you not being pregnant. If you're not pregnant, oh my goodness.
You're pregnant.
You're pregnant. You are pregnant. No.
Mariah later said this experience made her feel extremely uncomfortable because she was in fact pregnant at the time. She was reluctant to share the news publicly until she reached her second trimester when the risk of miscarriage falls. What makes this story even worse is that not long after the interview, Mariah did miscarry. She kept this to herself at the time, but amidst the news about Ellen in 2020, Mariah spoke out against the way she was treated. There have been numerous awkward interviews just like this over the years. You could argue Ellen was just trying to make the show entertaining, but it's clear she'd simply take things too far. And if the personal stories people posted on Reddit are to be believed, she treats people that don't have celebrity status even worse. One Redditor wrote, "True story. My buddy and I rented a room on Airbnb on Sunset Boulevard in LA. The owner of the house was an Emmy award-winning writer and worked on Ellen's show. We asked about Ellen and mentioned how nice she seemed to us. He replied that she is an awful person to work for and very rude and mean to the writers. Nothing they wrote was good enough for her, and what you see on TV is a persona. She's a don't meet your hero kind of person." Another wrote, "I went to a wedding about 6 years ago in Hollywood. At the wedding was a girl who was some sort of close assistant of Ellen. I reacted by saying, "Oh, that's so cool. How is it working with her?" The response was along the lines of, "Actually, it's terrible. I quit my job and dream because she made me so miserable." Someone replied, "I work in TV and film. Everyone I've talked to who has worked with Ellen says she is a monster." But all of this reached a whole new level in July 2020 when BuzzFeed released 2 news stories on what was happening behind the scenes of The Ellen Show. They interviewed dozens of former employees who shared their horrible experiences working there. The first article revealed that workers faced racism, fear, and intimidation tactics day after day. One former employee
So
said
wait,
that
Ellen was racist?
when the cameras are on, it's all for show. People are being fired for taking medical leave or bereavement days, others for speaking out.
Wow, Ellen's going way too far.
One for as little as posting a picture with their co-workers on social media. A black woman who used to work on the show told BuzzFeed she experienced racist comments and microaggressions during her 1.5 years as an employee. When she was hired, a senior level producer told her and another black employee, "Oh wow, you both have box braids. I hope you don't get you confused." And at a work party, she said one of the main writers told her, "I'm sorry, I only know the names of the white people who work here." Most of the former employees blamed executive producers for the day-to-day toxicity, but the feeling was that ultimately it was Ellen's name on the show and she needed to take more responsibility for the workplace environment. In response to the allegations being made, Warner Brothers launched an internal investigation and they reportedly found deficiencies in the show's day-to-day management. This happened just before BuzzFeed released their second news story, which was arguably worse than the first. Dozens of former Ellen Show employees say executive producers engaged in rampant sexual misconduct and harassment. One ex-employee said head writer and executive producer Kevin Lehman asked him for sexual favors in a bathroom at a company party in 2013. In May 2017, another former employee also said she saw Lehman grope a production assistant in a car and kiss his neck. It was said that Lehman routinely made sexually explicit comments in the office, specifically targeting lower-level employees who felt they lacked any power to speak up. There were similar reports about Ed Glavin, another executive producer on the show. Apparently, he had a reputation for being handsy with women, often placing his hands on their lower waist or rubbing their backs and shoulders without permission. 47 former employees said Glavin led with intimidation and fear on a daily basis, with one former employee saying that when they turned in their notice, Glavin flipped over a table and chair while screaming. Then there was the executive producer Jonathan Norman, who reportedly groomed an employee for months before making a move on him. In Ellen's defense, none of this was directly her doing, but some staff believe she knew what was going on and turned a blind eye. Following the internal investigation conducted by Warner Brothers, all 3 of these producers were fired from the show. Ultimately, Ellen had to take responsibility for what went on. She started the 18th season of her show with a public apology.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
Viewing figures for the show's 18th season showed just how damaging the controversy had been. They drew in an average of 1.4 million viewers per episode, compared to 2019 when the average was 2.6 million. The fall in viewership came with reports that Ellen was struggling to book high-profile guests or even attract sponsors. It all seemed to be going downhill, and a couple of weeks before the season,
Ellen is going downhill. Her career is going downhill.
I am announcing that next season, season 19, is going to be my last season.
She claimed the decision had nothing to do with the drama from the previous year, but people connected the dots and they weren't convinced. The next and final season had a similar lackluster performance before Ellen said her final farewells. And even with the show ending, the negative news stories about Ellen didn't stop. In September 2022, Grayson Chance, a rising kid star Ellen took under her wing in 2010, came out about the way he was treated by her. Grayson went viral after he posted a cover of Lady Gaga's song Paparazzi on his YouTube channel. Ellen flew him out to appear on her show and told his mother that she's never going to have to work again a day in her life. She showered Grayson with gifts, including $10,000 and a new piano. But after signing him to her music label 1111, things took a turn for the worst. Grayson said that when he began touring, Ellen became overly controlling and domineering, and his whole week, month, or even year would change with just a single text from her. She would come in and look at a rack, yell at stylists, berate people in front of me, and say, "This is what you're wearing on the show." She was just degrading to people. One time, Ellen gave Grayson an advanced copy of Justin Bieber's Never Say Never documentary and told him to watch it. So given Grayson was working 14 to 16-hour days while touring, he was exhausted and didn't get around to it. When Ellen found out he hadn't watched it, she confronted his mother saying, "What type of mother are you? Do you realize that I went out of my way to get this for you and he can't sit down and watch it? Disappointed isn't even remotely what I'm feeling right now." After Grayson's 2012 EP underperformed, he said Ellen completely removed herself from his career and wouldn't return his calls. Not long after, she dropped him from her label entirely. His final words were that he's never met someone more manipulative, more self-centered, and more blatantly opportunistic than Ellen. What's unsettling about this story and all the others is just how different Ellen seems to be from her on-screen persona. There's no question she's helped a lot of people out during her career, but she's clearly not the saint people thought her to be. And after nearly 2 decades...
Okay. So this video was all about Ellen Degeneres. So comment, so like this video and subscribe and comment down below. Do you think this is all lies that are trying to scare us that Ellen is a bad person, or they're just making up theories for attention? Or do you think she's really a nice person? Love you guys.